Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about SDI values and what that represents. So SDI stands for Simpson's Diversity Index. Okay. Now it's basically a way of measuring the biodiversity, one of the ways of measuring biodiversity in a population or in an ecosystem. Okay, so if we have a look at the actual formula, we can see that there is two N's. There's a capital N and a lowercase n. Now, capital N is the total number of organisms of all species, and little n is the number of organisms of one species. Okay, so there's a few ways where you can calculate SDI values. I mean, there's only one formula, but there's a few ways of working it out. For example, some people like to, so the question might give you a table like this here, and then ask you to calculate the SDI from that information. So if we have a look at the number here, so this represents there's 10 bream, 5 salmon, and 7 whiting in an ecosystem. So to calculate the SDI, we're going to do another column called n times n minus 1. This is what some people like to do. Now, we're going to do 10 times 9, 10 times 10 minus 1, 90. 5 times 5 minus 1, and then 7 times 7 minus 1, which is that there. Now we add these values up. So we do 90 plus 20 plus 42, and that'll give us the top of our fraction. So if we do 90 plus 20 plus 42, that whole thing will be divided by the total number of organisms. So if we add all of these up, we've got 10. Let's do another column here called total. That's going to be 10 plus 5 plus 7. And that gives us 22. That's our total number of organisms. So that's going to be our capital N. Right, equals capital N. Now we do capital N times n minus 1, which is 21. So it's 22 times 21. So this is this part of the equation. So if we do that, and we put it in our calculator, we'll get a value of 0.329. We'll just round that up to 0.33. Now remember, we still have to do this 1 minus, so the SDI is equal to 1 minus 0.33. So if we do that, we get our answer is 0.67. That represents our SDI value for this population. Now, SDI is a measure of relative abundance. If the value is closer to 1, it means that there is a higher biodiversity. So often questions will give you two tables like this and ask you to compare the SDI values to see which ecosystem has a greater biodiversity value. Okay, so if we got another one that was 0.8, then the other ecosystem would have a higher biodiversity. Right, hopefully that makes a bit of sense.